Dragi gledaoci, dobrodošli u još jednu epizodu emisije Diplomata. Naša današnja sagovornica je njena ekscelencija Florans Ferari, ambasadorka Francuske u Republici Srbiji. Your Excellency, thank you for taking the time off your day to speak with us and give us this opportunity to explore relations between France and Serbia.
Thank you for coming, and I'm very glad to be here today with you.
As well, and thank you for the kind reception at the embassy. Now, starting off, Ambassador, you've had quite a career at the French foreign policy sector. You've visited quite a few of countries, European and Canada as well. Could you tell us what has been the most rewarding in representing France abroad, and what drew you to your role today here in Serbia?
Indeed, I have been a diplomat for 30 years now, so I had quite a few different postings, mainly in Europe. You're right, but I must say that I'm very thankful and honored to have been appointed as a French ambassador here in Serbia. Last October, I arrived. It's really an honor for me, also because for us in France, Serbia is a very important posting. And I must say that I already knew the region. I had been an ambassador in Slovenia for a few years, and I had also dealt with the region and with the EU enlargement negotiation in Eastern Europe during many years, both in Brussels and in Paris. So it was completely logical for me to arrive here in Serbia, and I'm very glad for that.
You recently had a meeting with the Friendship Parliamentary Group of France and Serbia on May 13th. How do you assess after this meeting the current bilateral relations between France and Serbia?
Indeed, we had such a meeting because parliamentary relations are also part of the bilateral relations. So it's important for us also to see the member of parliament. The current relations, it's quite difficult to summarize actually, but what I must say, and this is something that I felt very strongly since I arrived in Serbia, is that the relations between Serbia and France, they are very deep, and they come back from the past, from the First World War. So this is really a basis on which we can really build for relations. Since President Macron arrived in office, these relations were even strengthened. And I would say that today they are really excellent. We had 2 official visits of the president here in Serbia since 19. Since I arrived, I could go with your president in Paris last November. We had the Minister for Foreign Affairs coming in January. So this shows how important it is for both countries. And behind that, there is also many concrete projects and presence. French presence in Serbia is visible. And I see it, actually I'm traveling quite a lot through Serbia, and I see it not only in Belgrade, I see it everywhere.
And what are your impressions of Serbia since you had the opportunity to see it?
I love traveling in the country. When you are a diplomat, you have to go outside from the capital, even if the capital is very beautiful and dynamic, and I love Belgrade. But it's good also to see a country in its diversity, and Serbia is very diverse. At this stage, I already visited. I was in Novi Sad. I was yesterday in Kragujevac. I was in Zrenjanin. I was in Sviljanac, where you have many Serbian many French from Serbian origin coming from this city. I was at the NATO Serbia exercise last week, so in the south of Serbia. So, diverse country, very dynamic, and French presence everywhere. That's also what's important for a French ambassador.
Absolutely. Now, in your previous answer, you did mention that President Macron visited Serbia twice. By now, we had a visit last year in August as well. Could you tell us how have the agreements that have been signed at that time advanced our partnership?
We had signed indeed many agreements. It's good to have such high-level visits to give impetus to such bilateral relations. So we had many agreements in many sectors, mainly economic. We saw progress since then, and we also saw the necessity to broaden the cooperation. This was mainly done by the last visit of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, who tried beyond the existing agreements in the infrastructures, in green energy, etc., to broaden that to artificial intelligence. Also, we would like to cooperate with Serbia on civil nuclear energy. This has been asked also by the Serbian part, that we can accompany them in reflecting about the future nuclear energy in Serbia. So these are kind of new sectors which are important. We are now we are celebrating the 15th anniversary of the strategic partnership between our two countries. And we decided at last visit of Minister for Foreign Affairs to establish a kind of a roadmap to be more precise about what we want to do together for the coming years. And this will be part of my job.
I see. Thank you for that response, Your Excellency. Now, moving on to foreign policy, with EU enlargement talks and the growth plan, especially for the Western Balkans, in the focus of many audiences, European, but both Balkan as well. How does France's vision of a sovereign Europe, above all, shape Serbia's EU membership path?
First thing that I want to say about that is that Serbia is really at the heart of Europe. This is something that you feel when you're in Serbia, and this is very important also, and that's why Serbia chose a EU path as a strategic objective. When it comes to sovereign Europe, you're right, it's something that my president is defending with enthusiasm. Maybe you remember when he arrived the first time in power, he had this very marking speech in La Sorbonne in 2017, where he was talking about strategic autonomy of Europe. I think that since then we made a huge progress in the three main pillars of this sovereign Europe, which is security, prosperity and democracy, because the three goes together. And for us, Serbia, who has this end goal and objective to join EU, can contribute also before to this project, and it has already started, for instance, with securing energy supply. This is something that is important for Europe. So full place for Serbia in the EU, and even if the path is long. And growth plan, indeed, I didn't answer that part of your question. Growth plan is a very important tool for that, to harmonize both the legislations and practices, and to have some funding for that also. But it's only one tool, it's not the only one, and we really think that we have to use all possible tools in order to accompany Serbia on this path.
Now, in a multipolar world of shifting alliances, how does France view its role in promoting and fighting for stability and garnering a dialogue among major powers in the world?
It's indeed a big question, especially now with what's going on through the world. The first thing is that we really believe in multipolarity, and we are strong supporters of UN action in the world. We really think that it's on the basis of the Charter of UN that we can act, and we as France, we do that concretely. We were mentioning Lebanon before we started this interview. We lost 2 soldiers there, so it's also a commitment. It shows our commitment to that. Of course, we also act within the EU. You mentioned the sovereignty of EU. One big pillar is the Europe of defense, and here also we push for progress in that, and it's also our way to contribute to that. And when it comes to the different fields where Well, things could be better in a sense. For instance, Middle East, we really advocate for diplomacy. This is the only way to find a peaceful and sustainable future for the region.
Well, certainly. Now, Your Excellency, turning to economy, where France and Serbia have been very active in their partnership, could you tell us where are French businesses investing here in Serbia, and which new sectors, especially green and digital, which have been the main point of many cooperations over the world, show growth potential?
We invest in strategic sectors. Maybe we have less enterprises than other partners present here. But what we do is visible. And this you see when you arrive in Serbia, you are at the Nikola Tesla airport, it's Nancy. So this is really something very emblematic, and it will last for decades. We are very present so in the infrastructure. We signed for the metro at the visit of my minister in January. We are also very present. You mentioned green in waste management. Water treatment, all this is something that we do almost on a daily basis. When I travel around Serbia, I see so many French projects, including in the municipalities, financed by our Agence Française de Développement, our French development agency, which is very active on the ground. So this is, we also have Schneider Electric, which is important. We have Michelin with a...
It's quite a big presence here.
So it's a big visible presence. And what we would like to do more, it's IA. We already sold the supercomputer. It's a big computer in Kragujevac in the data center. The second one is French one. So we are already present. We have a few enterprises who are also in IT, like Advance, for instance. I tell Advance because I visited their premises last week in Niš. So IA, IT is something that we would like to develop, and there is a huge demand also from the Serbian side. We have an innovation forum together, so this shows that we want to do things in this field. Decarbonization, of course, nuclear energy, it's something that would last for decades, but we are ready to accompany, and this is very important because it also shows that our cooperation with Serbia, it's not just small things, one shot. We are ready to do that for a long time. And this shows also that, for us, Serbia is a friend.
Absolutely, and we can say it's a very tangible cooperation with a strong foundation, but even with more potential for further growth in the future. Now, while we're still on the topic of economy, it would be good to mention the upcoming Expo 2027. How will Expo showcase French innovation and strengthen further collaboration with Serbia?
Expo is something that we value in France. We have been participating in all expos since the first one in the 19th century. You know that the Bureau International des Expositions is located in Paris, almost 1 century now. So Expo for us, it's something important. And the Tour Eiffel was also built for an Expo. So Expo, it's a very good opportunity for different countries to showcase their know-how, their innovation, all that. So Expo 2027, of course, we will participate. Our Cofrex, which is the company for Expo, is working very hard on it. I cannot tell too much about how will the pavilion look like, but they are quite active. And since the theme of Expo Belgrade is sport and music, so we will do something linked with that, with the idea of showing our potential and inventivity in these two sectors. But also linking that with Serbia and the Western Balkans. For us, it's very important to link that with the place where we are, and that's the intention of COFREX, and you will see in 1 year now.
Yes. Certainly, and it's certainly good to hear that France will be there as part of it. Now, moving on to cultural diplomacy, we had a good display of this by the President of France, Macron, which in Yerevan actually sang La Bohème by Charles Aznavour. Given the importance of such gestures and the context of this importance of this act, how do you view the role of cultural diplomacy in bridging differences and strengthening partnerships between countries?
You want me to sing a Serbian song now? I think maybe
we
not.
won't ask you to do that. Don't worry.
But the culture is very important in international relations, and for my country, it's really a key. When it comes to French-Serbian relations, the cultural presence of France and Serbia in France is huge, and it's a very long history. I must say that I was impressed. I visited the Contemporary Museum recently, and I saw many Serbian painters who had spent some time in Paris, so you could see that through the pictures.
It was an integral part of their process.
Yeah, it's really. When it comes to the French Institute, we had a kind of ancestor of this institute before the Second World War, and then after the Second World War, we created that in the same place where it is now, in Place Mihailova. I think it was in the 50s, starting of 50s. So it's really something, we have a legacy in terms of culture, but our aim is also to build on this, to do more and to have that also in the future. I must say that the French Institute is very active. Just to mention recent events, we just had 2 weeks of Journée Molière with many French authors coming to the French Institute. We had many debates. So this was a kind of a highlight. We will have the French Film Festival in June. So this is something visible. It's not only Belgrade, because we also have 2 antennas of this French Institute in Novi Sad and Niš. And I visited already both, and they are very active both in teaching French, but also in organizing many events. We have exhibitions all year round. There is currently one very interesting one about women in the Western Balkans. It's an expo by Agence France Presse. You can go.
Absolutely,
it's
we
a
will.
good one. So culture is really important, and it's part of my mission and my job here to strengthen that during the coming years. Culture is also gastronomy.
We can't leave that out.
When you mention France, and I'm telling that because I see a potential here. We had recently an event here with a mleko product, and with some French and Serbian chef. It's also part of art de vivre and culture, and here I intend to do a lot during my coming years.
How are you liking the Serbian cuisine while we're on it?
I like it a lot. I already knew it a bit because I had been in Serbia before, yes. So I'm a huge fan of sarma, of cevapi with ajvar and kajmak. And I love rakia.
Well, you certainly assimilated well, that's safe to say. So. Yes. Another thing that ties us besides culture is of course sports. I mean, when it comes to basketball and football, just to name a few, but there are other areas as well. France and Serbian people are very passionate about this. Could you tell us how can sports diplomacy deepen the Franco-Serbian relations?
It is indeed something that we have in common, and we are both very passionate and enthusiastic. I already attended a few matches since I arrived here. I was once at a football match. It was between Lille and Red Stars. So it was I could feel the enthusiasm. Okay, we lost. That's another story. And I also attended the water polo France-Serbia yes. for the Euro, and again Serbia won. But it was a wonderful atmosphere. We have many Serbian sportsmen, especially in the team games, playing in France. So some are very famous, in particular in handball, where we have two brothers who also won the Olympic Games. And we will see in the future, because we have in France we will have the basket World Cup in 31. So maybe it could be an opportunity to see our stars playing on the same ground with Jokic and the French star also. So who knows? So it's part of the links between two countries, and we can play on that.
Now for the last question of the interview, Your Excellency, could you tell us what is your personal vision of the Franco-Serbian relations in the future, and what message would you give to the Serbian people?
This is an interesting and not completely easy one, but I must say, first thing is, again, I repeat, Serbia is at the heart of Europe. And this is something very important also for us, who are also in Europe. So I see our relations based on this past that I described earlier, and which really creates deep links of friendship, long-standing friendship, to develop into something which is a common future. And this common future is within the EU. Serbia decided to join the EU, and it made it as a strategic objective. So for that, we have to work together to strengthen the three pillars I was mentioning earlier on, which is security, prosperity, and democracy. And this is something where we can do a lot together, and we have to. And this will be possible because we are friends.
Your Excellency, thank you for your time today speaking with us, and we wish you luck in your future work at the embassy.
Thanks a lot. Hvala puno.
Hvala I vama. A našim dragim gledaocima, hvala vam na pažnji. Gledali ste razgovor sa ambasadorkom Francuske u Srbiji, njenom ekscelencijom Florans Ferari. Ostanite uz nas jer dalje idu diplomatski događaji.
U organizaciji magazina Diplomacy&Commerce, emisije Diplomata i Euronews televizije, a u saradnji sa Nacionalnim parkom Fruška Gora, predstavnici ambasada Norveške, Ujedinjenih Arapskih Emirata, Crne Gore, Konga, Severne Makedonije, Slovačke, Portugala, Izraela, Tunisa i Švajcarsko-srpske privredne komore imali su priliku da se upoznaju sa prirodnim, kulturnim, verskim i istorijskim nasleđem Fruške Gore. Program je započeo posetom prirodnjačkoj izložbi i prezentacijom Nacionalnog parka, nakon čega je usledila šetnja stazom zdravlja do spomenika Sloboda, jednog od najprepoznatljivijih simbola Fruške Gore.
Započeli smo obilazak u parku prirode koji je tako blizu grada, a istovremeno potpuno izolovan u onom najlepšem pozitivnom smislu. Biti svestan prirode i važnosti njenog očuvanja nam je uvek dragoceno iskustvo. Fruškogorski manastiri koji potiču iz davnih vremena i opstaju zahvaljujući monasima su impresivni, a vinska i gastronomska ponuda nas je uverila u istinitost izreke da je u vinu istina.
Posete manastirima Staro i Novo Hopovo i obilazak srpske čitaonice, odnosno rodne kuće Borislava Mihajlovića Mihiza u Irigu, posebno su oduševili ambasadore. Druženje je nastavljeno ručkom i degustacijom vina u vinariji Lagora u Irigu, uz autentičan ambijent, ukuse i mirise Srema.
Posebno bih izdvojio posetu manastiru Starom Hopovu, zatim kući Borislava Mihajlovića Mihiza, koja nas je evocirala na jednog izuzetnog čovjeka i na njegovo djelo, a zatim i ova vinarija ovdje, Lagora, gdje smo imali priliku da vidimo jedan izuzetan projekat i u ovom prijatnom ambijentu koji je, nadam se, izvanredno pogodan za mnoge diplomatske događaje i večeri.
Još jedna mogućnost da mojim prijateljima, mojim rođacima i mojim državljanima iz Republike Severne Makedonije toplo preporučim ovaj kraj, da probaju fruškogorsko vino, da vide šta je Srbija uradila na ovom planu i verujem da će to biti velika prilika da se još jedan put uporede makedonska i srpska vina na jedno mesto.
Fruškogorska tura za diplomate bila je još jedna prilika za upoznavanje te zajednice sa prirodnim i kulturnim znamenitostima Fruške Gore i okoline, kao i za promociju turizma, tradicije i jedinstvenog vojvođanskog gostoprimstva. Nacionalni dan Švedske, koji se obeležava u znak sećanja na izbor Gustava I za kralja te zemlje 1523. i usvajanje novog ustava 1809. svečano je obeležen u Klubu Privrednik u Beogradu. Vekovima kasnije Švedska i Srbija dele snažne i dinamične bilateralne odnose, izjavila je ambasadorka Charlotta Samelin.
Najveća podrška članstvu Srbije u Evropskoj uniji, čak 74%, nalazi se upravo u Švedskoj. Verujem da je to, između ostalog, rezultat uticaja velike srpske dijaspore, načina na koji je obogatila našu kulturu i doprinela razvoju i uspehu Švedske. Švedska je prijatelj, pouzdan i stabilan partner Srbije i njenih građana. Više od 20 godina ostvarujemo intenzivnu razvojnu saradnju i nastavljamo to snažno partnerstvo koje jasno pokazuje našu posvećenost pružanju podrške Srbiji na njenom putu ka članstvu u Evropskoj uniji.
Kako je dodala ambasadorka Samelin, najveći kapital Srbije su njeni građani. Srbija je poslovna kapija ka Zapadnom Balkanu, a oko 150 švedskih i švedsko-srpskih kompanija trenutno posluje u Srbiji.
AstraZeneca kao lider u inovacijama u medicini deli apsolutno iste vrednosti kao Švedska i zaista je jedinstven osjećaj raditi za takvu kompaniju u Srbiji. Pre svega ono što su švedske vrednosti, a koje smo mi jednako prepoznali kao kompanija, to je da se podržavaju različitosti, da se neguje poverenje i timski rad, kao i da se neguje kolaboracija između ljudi. Ono što je takođe važno i što mislim da nas odlikuje kao kompaniju koja je skoro 50 godina prisutna u Srbiji, a to je razmišljanje na duži period, odnosno dugoročno planiranje. Tako da jednako kao i Šveđani, tako i AstraZeneca ima dugoročne planove u vezi sa Srbijom i sa pacijentima u Srbiji.
Pa više bih volila da istaknem da je moto naše kompanije štiti što je dobro. Ne odnosi se samo na ovu godinu, nego se odnosi generalno na poslovanje u Srbiji. Mi evo skoro već 60 godina poslujemo na teritoriji Srbije, tako da uz kontinuirani rad i rast na lokalnom nivou, ali tako i na globalnom, doprinosimo lokalnoj zajednici, a isto tako i globalno razvijamo i proizvodimo proizvode koji iz Srbije idu za dalje. Tako da negde ono što je najvažnije za nas je da ostanemo u tom domenu i da negde živimo naš moto, a to je upravo kroz inovacije koje donosimo, radu na ambalaži, radu na različitim regulativama kada je u pitanju ambalažni otpad i opet najveća i najvažnija stvar uvek je bezbednost hrane i ta bezbednost samog pakovanja kada su naši proizvodi za ishranu u pitanju.
U duhu promenjivih globalnih dešavanja ambasadorka se osvrnula i na to da je očuvanje stabilnosti, bezbednosti i saradnje u Evropi od suštinskog značaja. Snažna saradnja i poštovanje zajedničkih principa neophodni su za očuvanje trajnog mira i prosperiteta, dodala je ona. Proslava 80. godišnjice Dana Republike Italije organizovana je u ambasadi te zemlje u Beogradu, u prisustvu velikog broja gostiju iz sveta politike, diplomatije i javnog života. Na događaju su, pored govora o položaju Italije u svetu, istaknute njene prijateljske veze sa Srbijom.
Lekcije naučene tokom 80 godina svoje republike, Italija danas stavlja u službu dubokog prijateljstva sa Srbijom. Naše dve zemlje i narodi duboko dele zajedničke vrednosti o demokratiji, vladavini prava, dijalogu, međunarodnoj saradnji i miru. Srbiji nudimo iskustva i pouke stečene tokom 80 godina Republike Italije uz puno poštovanje i razumevanje izazova sa kojima se Srbija suočava. To činimo ne sa pretpostavkom onih koji žele da drže lekcije, već sa skromnošću onih koji veruju u istinsku vrednost prijateljstva i prijateljstva između naših naroda. To činimo zato što Srbiju smatramo sastavnim delom evropske istorije i evropske kulture, jer čvrsto verujemo u perspektivu Srbije koja je u potpunosti integrisana u Evropsku uniju.
Italija je jedan od najvećih investitora u Srbiji, a najveći strani investitor u oblasti osiguranja pripada kompaniji Generali Srbija, koja u našoj zemlji uspešno posluje poslednjih 20 godina.
Kao i ostale kompanije iz Italije i iz drugih industrija, značajno doprinosimo rastu bruto društvenog proizvoda naše zemlje, stalno napređujemo potrebu i neophodnost i razvijamo svest o potrebi osiguranja među građanima i privredom u našoj zemlji. Nastavit ćemo da napređujemo benefite kako za naše zaposlene, tako i za klijente. Radit ćemo mnogo na ubrzanju naših procesa, automatizaciji i robotizaciji procesa kao i na primjeni veštačke inteligencije koja će nam umnogome pomoći kako da ubrzamo proces, tako da budemo brži i bliži našim klijentima.
Zahvaljujući marljivom radu i kreativnom duhu svojih građana, Italija je postala druga najveća proizvodna sila i drugi najveći poljoprivredni proizvođač u Evropi, kao i četvrti najveći izvoznik na svetu, učinivši oznaku Made in Italy jednim od najpoznatijih globalnih brendova. To je zemlja spremna da afirmiše svoj kulturni identitet uz najveće poštovanje prema identitetu drugih. Zemlja odlučna da štiti svoje nacionalne interese, ali bez podleganja nacionalizmu. Zemlja zainteresovana za saradnju sa državama na svim kontinentima, ali čvrsto uverena da Evropa predstavlja njenu civilizacijsku pripadnost i da evropska integracija ostaje njena istorijska sudbina, dodao je ambasador Gori. Izložba arhivskih dokumenata Srbija, Jugoslavija, Meksiko, 80 godina od uspostavljanja diplomatskih odnosa 1946. do 2026. svečano je otvorena u Arhivu Jugoslavije povodom obeležavanja 80 godina diplomatskih odnosa između Meksika i Srbije.
Još 50. godina prošlog veka uspostavljena je posebna kulturna veza kroz muziku i film zahvaljujući popularnom muzičkom pokretu Jumex, Jugoslavija, Meksiko. Talentovani jugoslovenski umetnici izvodili su meksičke marijači pesme na srpskom jeziku, a mnogi su čak i komponovali svoje pesme inspirisane marijači muzičkim stilom. Kasnije su meksičke telenovele stekli izuzetnu popularnost i postale deo kulturnog iskustva čitavih generacija u Srbiji. Istovremeno, više od 40 dela meksičkih književnika prevedeno je na srpski jezik.
Diplomatski odnosi između naših zemalja nikada nisu bili prekinuti. Molim vas da se te činjenice uvek sećate, čak ni tokom posebno teških 90. godina, veoma teških za srpski narod i srpsku naciju u širem regionu. Tokom tih izazovnih vremena, ne samo za Srbiju, već i za Meksiko, zbog njegovog geopolitičkog položaja u tom periodu, Meksiko je pokazao iskreno prijateljstvo prema Srbiji, održavajući svoje diplomatsko prisustvo u Beogradu. Meksiko je dosledno zastupao stav o nepovredivosti suvereniteta i teritorijalnog integriteta Srbije, pružajući joj na taj način postojanu podršku.
Značaj izložbe ne ogleda se samo u prikazima istorijskih dokumenata i fotografija. Ona predstavlja vidljivo svedočanstvo o tome kako su se naše dve zemlje približavale kroz zajedničke vrednosti, ideale i ciljeve, gradeći čvrste odnose u korist oba naroda koji su po mnogo čemu slični. Te sličnosti su vidljive u svakodnevici i navikama stanovnika, kao i na ulicama Srbije i Meksika.
Nema restorana, čak ni tržnog centra u Beogradu, gde se ravnomerno uz domaću kuhinju ne nude upravo i meksički specijaliteti. S druge strane, postoje ulice u Meksiku koje nose naziv Jugoslavija, imamo spomenik Josipu Brozu Titu, kao i Beogradska ulica u Meksiko Citiju. Ali i u Beogradu, u centralnom i frekventnom delu Beograda na vodi, imamo Meksičku ulicu. Sve navedeno i još mnogo toga, svedočanstvo je životnih, neraskidivih veza i simbola prijateljstva i saradnje dva naroda, kojima i ova izložba daje svoj doprinos.
Izložba koja se nalazi pred vama, podeljena na 7 većih celina, i to prva celina su kontakti između Kraljevine Srbije i Sjedinjenih Meksičkih država, zatim konzularni odnosi, diplomatski odnosi, susreti zvaničnika, poruke najviših zvaničnika Jugoslavije i Meksika, zatim privredna, naučno-tehnička, kulturno-prosvetna i sportska saradnja i međudržavni ugovori. I u osnovi ova izložba donekle prati prethodnu izložbu realizovanu 2021. ali uz značajne sadržane izmene. Svaka od ovih celina jasno prikazuje kontakte i napore dveju država da se odnosi prodube i unaprede.
Izložba će biti otvorena za posetioce do 25. juna svakog radnog dana od 7:30 do 15:30 časova.